McLaren is headed toward a very heated closure of the 2025 season, where both of its drivers are the main protagonists for the championship. However, what we've seen so far suggests that the Woking base squad is ready to intervene from time to time, something that might change for the last 8 races if McLaren wins the Constructors' Championship in Baku. But does Piastri need to be worried about a potential sabotage from McLaren, judging by their actions in Monza? And more importantly, how is this influencing the contract that his manager, Webber, secured with the Woking-based squad in terms of driver priority? 2025 is all about McLaren's dominance in the Drivers' Championship, especially with Piastri giving us a lot to think about regarding where the team is headed from the next campaign onwards. There is no doubt that the dynamics in McLaren will change after what we've seen this season. But with 31 points between the two drivers, 8 races and 3 sprint events ahead of us, how will McLaren intervene? There have been serious questions as to why the Woking-based squad might have prioritized Norris in certain situations, such as the one in Monza. Talks about a potential sabotage of Piastri have emerged. While many would think it's far-fetched that McLaren would put themselves in such a position, there are arguments leading in that direction. For starters, many wonder if McLaren will commit to the same questionable swap of positions in Baku or any other race if the championship is on the line. Piastri spoke about this and said there is no doubt the team has clear directions for how they're going to race in the remainder of 2025. However, Piastri also said that he believes a slow pit stop is part of racing not worthy enough to warrant a swap of positions. That's why there's some doubt about whether McLaren did the right thing in Monza. Elaborating further, Piastri said, "A highly talked about moment. We've clarified a lot of things, and we know how we're going to go racing moving forward. What's happened is done. We've had a lot of discussions about how we want to go racing, and a lot of that stays with us. If we give out that info, we become very easy targets because everyone knows what we're going to do. It's all very aligned, but it stays in-house. That is a decision we've made, that a slow pit stop is a part of racing." In the car, the context wasn't there about what else had happened in terms of pit stop sequencing. So it was decided that there was another factor in the reasoning for swapping. Of course, we cannot deny the fact that Norris allowed Piastri to pit first in Monza, which is likely what Piastri refers to as the other factor. But we cannot guarantee that the exact same situation will play out again, with Piastri being asked to give up a position to his teammate. Whether we like it or not, the situation is clear. The battle is between these two drivers and no one else. No other driver has a realistic chance, apart from the slim one Max Verstappen has at this moment, to fight them and steal valuable points in the championship. This is a very important moment for McLaren's drivers in 2025. There are a few races in which Verstappen and Ferrari could steal valuable points such as Baku, Singapore and Las Vegas. That's 3 out of the remaining 8 races where the points difference between Piastri and Norris could be much lower than the usual 8-point gap between Pone and P2. That scenario would help Piastri a lot, and he'd likely sign for it immediately. Let's not forget the sprint races either. There are 24 points available there. If one of the drivers fails to score in those, it could cause a big shift in the dynamics. So far, Piastri is in a much more favourable situation, and he knows it better than anyone. Yes, he lost 3 points in Monza because of the swap, but McLaren's doctrine of always putting the team first is something both he and Norris must keep in mind. Oscar was asked whether things would change if McLaren clinches the Constructors' Championship in Baku. He replied, "No, not necessarily because of the Constructors' Championship. I think we've again had a lot of discussions about how we want to go racing, and a lot of that is to stay with us. Because ultimately, if we give out that information, then we become very easy targets to pick off, because everyone knows what we're going to do. So that's all very aligned with all of us, but it stays in-house." For Norris, the pressure is much greater. He's been part of McLaren since 2019 and helped them become what they are today. To think that the first Drivers' Championship since 2008 could go to his teammate rather than him would be humiliating to carry into 2026. On top of that, the massive point swing in Zandvoort wasn't Norris's fault. Mechanical failures happen, and the same could happen to Piastri as well. Still, the way McLaren is handling the situation is raising eyebrows among phone experts.